Can you unmute, please?
Councilman Long.
Here.
Councilman Ballas.
Present.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Councilwoman Redzak.
Present.
President Zulich.
Present.
Councilman Floto.
Yes.
And Councilperson West.
Present.
We have Mayor Rogan.
I'm here too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any additional emergency agenda items? No? There's no registered comments from the public. This time we heard comments from the public on public related items. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. Please state your name and address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
I
I just want. Very much.
Are these ones on?
Anthony. It's not.
I'm gonna talk to the on-off button. Yeah, and
Down toward the bond. I got.
you got it? Yeah, thank you.
No, you hear it? Nothing? No, nothing.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah.
All the way.
There you go.
Technology. I just wanted to say thank you. We had the most amazing Halloween in the park. It was extraordinary. It was enchanting. It was magical. So many people to thank. I've already written an article and given it to Donald and sent him photographs, so it's going to be in the newsletter. But I wanted to just bring to everyone's attention, Dave, thank you so much for attending. Your presence meant everything. It truly did. We're a small village, and when the mayor of the village shows up to support us, that's huge.
You all did what you had to do. Great time.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And the children loved it, and the memories that they're going to take back walking that yellow brick road to Emerald City and visiting with the characters, just incredible. The businesses, the 3 main businesses were Giant Eagle, Jesse Dental and Off the Rails. We got together and we formed an alliance, and it was incredible. All this is going to be in the newsletter, and I don't want to waste my time, so I've got another thing I need to talk about too. 3 people that I need to thank. One is Sue, who's right at the back here, who came into Giant Eagle when I was so busy. It was one of my 9-hour weeks. And she said, give me those flyers and I'll take them to the plaza. And she was wonderful. So thank you, Suze. I appreciate it. Leanne, who knew that there were 1,000 things I was trying to juggle, and she just took charge and said, I've got the games, I'll bring the table. And she was wonderful. So thank you to Leanne, because she tends to go unnoticed sometimes. And I just wanted to make sure that she was noted for that. And a young man who sat on a bale of straw with me at the Easter egg hunt and had a vision and wanted to create magic. He wasn't able to attend, but without him, I don't think I would have gone forward, because I didn't want to let him down either. That was his vision as well. So that was that. George Sears said to tell you, hang on, specs on. Just tell them I said I'm glad it was a success and I hope to make it bigger and better next year. So Giant Eagle, look out, here we go. We've already started planning for next year's event. We're going to build Halloween Town somehow. But anyway, so that's that. Thank you to everybody. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I sent Mayor Dave the article, is this Saturday, Giant Eagle are going to be doing a penny for gift card event. We're running out of pennies because the mint isn't minting them anymore, and we need them, especially for our self-checkouts. So what we're doing is we're doubling. Register 13 will be set up, so I've got the decorations ready, will be set up so that you can go, if you have 50 cents of pennies, just pennies, we will give you a $1 gift card. We will double what penny amount you have. Okay, so we're taking it like that's the lowest. The highest is going to be 50 pennies, or not 50 pennies, but $50 will get you a $100 gift card.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so that's what we're doing this Saturday. It's not just Verona Giant Eagle, it's all the Giant Eagles. It is a corporate thing, and we're not technically corporate because we're privately owned by the Rosenbergs, but we want to do that, especially for the people in Verona, and at this time,
What time does that start?
that's going to be on Saturday, and it's going to be all day on Saturday. Yeah, so register 13, you can't miss it, it's going to have pennies and everything hanging out, and I'm going to be Abe Lincoln, so look out. I just wanted to bring that to your attention because Dave thought it was important that we should
Yeah, it's
let
being on.
Verona know that if you've got pennies, bring them to Giant Eagle, and we will double the amount you give us in a gift card. See you there, I guess. Thank you,
Very
everybody.
nice, thank
Thank
you.
you for what you did, you and your crew.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know I said this at the chamber meeting, but Annie told me to hold her broom and I was trying to start it. It wouldn't start. And somebody says, you have to be a witch. Then I said, no wonder it wouldn't start.
Yeah, you gotta have a few magic words in there too, I think, as well, Mayor. But thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Annie.
Appreciate it.
Last time we tried to fly in a boat to Greece.
Yeah, that's right.
Anybody else? Sherry?
Don't remind me, John.
I was gonna come here, this is Sherry, 759 East Road. I was gonna come here later, but then we do have 3 birthdays at the bar. One is my son, so I figure I'll come make my comment. I gotta run, he's gonna turn 15. First of all, before I start saying what I'm gonna say, I just wanna say that event on the 18th with those Wizard of the Oz was amazing.
Oh, Sherry.
And the fact that we got Gloria out here and she participated, Gloria fixation, she had a stroke. And I think that just made the day, made the community day. So I always say Annie is the Mary Poppin of Verona.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, thank you too, Sherry.
I didn't do anything,
videos and-
I literally did nothing, so, but, the reason I'm here today is I wanted to say a few things about Ray. Just from my personal experience, nothing else. So Randy and I are not from Verona. We came here 19 years ago. The only thing we knew about Verona back then was Miller Antique and Cafe Carousel. There's only 2 places. So we came here, got the hula bar, and when you're not from the area, sometimes people can be very apprehensive. They're not giving you the most welcoming reception, but there are some anchors of Verona have made us feel comfortable, and I have to say Ray is one of them. And we came in, guns blazing and had some crazy ideas such as Rock in the Park. You guys know that my host family are 4th-generation firemen in Oklahoma. So my host father, which I still contact with my family, he was the fire chief in Lawton, Oklahoma. So I have an affinity towards firemen, and of course, my brother-in-law is a retired policeman. So we are a family of supporting men in uniform, especially in Pennsylvania, because I think it's very small states in America. Firemen actually working on a volunteer basis, so they're not. So we went to Ray when he was the fire chief to come up with ideas and let's work together to do Rock in the Park. He didn't know who we are, but he really helped us, supported us to throw Rock in the Park. And of course, the chamber back then here, Ewing was behind it. The Ewing Insurance was behind it. Mayor Brennan was behind it. And we did Rock in the Park, and it really put Verona on the map, because I remember Mayor Brennan went downtown and said, my God, we found out when we brought the Beatlemania in, it was 35 years since Pittsburgh actually seen Beatlemania, and that was because your support, Ray, that we were able to bring the Beatlemania into Verona about 18 years ago. So I've seen you, being on the council, the hearing board, and this and that. The most important thing is anytime there was a fire, a water main break, something needs to be done, the Fall Fest, you always been there. I know all of us, all of us humans, we're all just angels with broken wings. None of us are perfect, but I would say, whatever it is, there was decades and decades of sacrifices that you made for this community. This is just from our perspective, this is what we see. So for me and Randy, we're very grateful for you being in this community and all your work and sacrifices. You came into the hula a couple of times when we had the fight, when we had, flooding, and I've seen you was there for the fire with Eilers and, Antique. So we're pretty planted here, and I just wanted to, express my gratitude. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words, Sherry. Appreciate it. It takes a whole crew, like Annie said, it takes a whole crew. There's a great fire department, a great council, great chamber.
So I gotta run back. So, but thank you for it.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. Anybody else?
Oh, I took your pen. I'm so sorry.
We got a policeman arrested. Anybody else? No? Okay, go to the boards. A couple things under mine. We're gonna have a quick exec after this meeting on personnel, and we do not have to come back. I'm not sure how this is gonna work or how this worked. I wanted to bring it up. We got a couple applications for alternates for the civil service. I don't remember if anybody remembers the rules or how many's supposed to be on there. Vince, maybe you remember? It's up to 5,
Yeah.
but we have 3.
Did 6?
3 alternates, yeah.
Okay.
So we can have the
One more.
3 and 3 alternates.
Right.
Okay, so we have the 3 on there now. So we have 2 people that applied to be on the alternate list. So that's, I don't know if that's an action item, Jason?
It's not, it was originally going to be, but we were going to discuss
Okay.
what the process was that you guys needed to follow, and, but we can put that on for the
We
next.
can put that on the agenda for the next, for the November, 11th meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
I'd like to see the letters.
what's that?
I said I'd like to see the letters.
I think they're in our.
They're in our packet.
We are?
They are in our packet.
No. I think that's. It's a little.
So we'll just have to do an action item to, I wasn't sure of the numbers.
Just distribute the letters of intent.
They're in our packet.
Yeah, it's under civil service alternates or the farm.
So we'll put that under an action item for November 11th. And then the next thing I want to discuss is the borough manager search status. And Jason came up with a timeline and some things here to discuss. And we as a council need to know how we want to go about this. Jason has a couple ideas of how we can do this. So we're going to turn it over to Jason to discuss this and see what everybody's thoughts are.
Yeah, so in front of you, you have an updated timeline that has that originates with the advertisement running through November 15th. Now, I'll distribute the advertisement to you all, for approval. And if anyone would like to see any changes with that, just, let me know. I'll provide you with a deadline for it. And, but the ad is going to be pretty general, covering, the duties of the position. It is typical for an ad to have the top salary that would be, offered, possibly to the candidate, as well as, some deadlines in there for, when materials need to be submitted by and when the expected start date would be. So I'll distribute that all to you. In fact, I'll send that to you later tonight for you all to take a look at. One item that I do have on here is that, a search committee is helpful to have in place during this process, mainly because, there's so many council persons and vetting through the initial wave of candidates can get a little daunting to have everyone participate at that level. What I usually recommend is that there be 3 council persons that would be appointed to the search committee. They would be responsible for reviewing the applicants, scoring the applicants, and then interviewing the first round of the top 5 or 7 candidates that we would have. They would whittle that number down to the top 3 candidates, that would then go to the full council for an interview with the whole board. Now considering this is an election year, I would suggest that those, three persons that would be on that committee would be, individuals that are likely or are going to be on the board next year, possibly not up for election right now, in the event that they may not advance. It would just keep the process and the structure, kind of in place as we would go through and interview those candidates. But again, the full board would be making that final decision. So the board that's sitting here through December 31st would be the hiring board for that candidate. But again, just vetting those candidates through, I think is sometimes better to do that in a smaller group. It keeps the process moving, and you only have to deal with 3 schedules then as well. My suggestion in the timeline is that we would start the interviews the week of December 1st. That would be the first round interviews. Then we would follow up with the second round interviews with the full council the week of December 15th. And that would give us about 2 weeks, even though there's a holiday mixed in there, to work to negotiate with that candidate their employment agreement. The target start date is January 1st, but again, I think we'd be flexible with that, but that would be still the target start date for the manager. So really what I would need from council is the 3 names that would serve as the manager search committee, if that's how you guys would like to proceed, following that process.
Jason, I know I've said this to you offline, but I would like to suggest the heads of staff in lieu of 3 council members. So that would be AJ, Tom, and Teresa if she's interested. And I'm not opposed to 1 or 2 council members, but just so we don't further bog down the process. Also, November 15th was the date of advertisement, or can you clarify that?
That's when the advertisement would run through and when we would accept applicants through.
Okay, I think I also told you I feel like that's a bit aggressive, but I mean, obviously start the process and hopefully we can take a look and see what our applicant pool is.
Sure. Yep.
Now, I didn't quite hear what Trish said. Did she say make the search committee AJ what?
She suggested having the chief, AJ, and Teresa participate in that committee process.
I think that's. I have to respectfully disagree. Those are people who are gonna be they're be interviewing their prospective boss. I've not heard that that's a way that generally people hire. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to people? I think it should.
I have to say, I agree with Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
What have you heard in the past, Jason?
So usually, if you do want to engage staff, they can, typically they may participate after council's second round, whenever council has a full interview and possibly makes the decision, or gets it down to the top 2 or something like that. And you can sometimes bring staff in to participate, or at least to
Onboarding, correct?
it is, right? Yeah.
I didn't interrupt you.
No, not at all. Yep. And it's just, I think having them involved, they are not hiring managers necessarily. Staff, as far as their experience goes, which, but I think having them involved in the process, I think they would feel, part of that. I think maybe as part of the second round,
Yeah,
or after that. But
yeah.
I think it's a good suggestion
Yes,
to
I
have them
like that,
involved.
not at the beginning, just my opinion.
Sure.
And the other thing I was either gonna say about who would be on that search committee, which I'm assuming would be 3 people. If we pick it now, the people who are definitely gonna be here are Sylvia, myself, and Tim. But if we wanna wait for the results of the election and then see who's definitely gonna be here in January, we could wait and. I mean, it would just be a week and a day, let's say,
Sure.
from now, so.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out as 2 possibilities of how to decide on who the search committee is.
I'm good with either or, as long as 3 members of council that get to be part of,
I don't know if that week makes a difference.
No, and honestly, we wouldn't have any, usually the scoring would take place after the close of the advertisement, so, the committee can be formed. We would just
Sure.
start the work of reviewing the candidates
Yeah.
after the committee's appointed then. But this part of the timeline, though, we can still move forward with if everybody's good with that, including me pushing the advertisement out to all of council for your review and approval.
Yeah, I do agree with Trish that the timeline seems a bit aggressive, just based on past experience. We haven't managed to be able to hire a borough manager in that short period of time, especially when the holidays are mixed in.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that. It says here we're February, or maybe it could be March. I mean, this is like a budget. It's a guess.
It is.
Right? But I appreciate you doing this. You're saying that the deadline for accepting applications is November 15th?
That's when the ad would run through, just so that we could start, reviewing the applicant pool, and setting up the first round interviews for that first week of December, but we can always push it. If you'd like for it to run through the end of November, past the holiday, we can do that.
How are you, where's the ad gonna be distributed at? Where are we, what area are we looking at?
Yeah, so it's gonna be targeted to, where I know it will generate the most amount of applicants, which will include, there's manager association groups that I'm a part of, that they circulate within those, that profession. The PML website is a good one, the
ICMA?
Baseball League, not ICMA, mainly because it's an international. The ads are extremely expensive, and I've not had a lot of success generating a lot of candidates with that particular.
Are we gonna leave Indeed out of it?
I was going to include Indeed, but make it very specific as to what their minimum requirements were for someone to submit through that. There are still candidates that do search through, and that has a pretty far reach. I still may use that, but we'll see.
And then what about local government academy
For
and
sure.
ESAB?
Yep, they all have job boards that I'll be posting to. Yep.
So why don't we all look at this and then come up with, any different timeline you might wanna do, or any of these ads that you wanna do and get to Jason in the next week,
That'd be great.
and go from there. We could sit here and what if all night,
Sure.
but if we get this all, and Jason can compile the dates and where we're gonna advertise and everything.
But it costs money. All these places cost some money to
They
put
do.
the ads up.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, I'll let you know what those prices are too. Like I said, ICMA is probably the most expensive one, and that can run you up to $1,500 pretty quickly.
which one?
ICMA.
What's IC? Oh,
That's the-
that's the one you said.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? So if we all get our info or our stuff to Jason within the next week or so, then we can get going on this. And again, like everybody says, the dates can be changed a week or two here or there. We just gotta start somewhere. That's all I have, Mayor.
Yeah, last month I brought up about the, Welcome to Verona sign on, Second Street and, Wildwood Avenue. And, Jason gave me a application to give to John, and he agreed to it, he signed it, was returned. And there was some damage on the sign, and the Rich Barnecker, the one that made the sign, he actually built it and painted it and everything. He's in the process of repairing it with some high strength epoxy that he's going to touch it up, so that should be going up. I don't know if it'll go up before the ground freezes, but hopefully shortly, if not, I guess in the spring. The other thing I want to bring up, and I didn't put it on the agenda, I was just reading my notes here, is the, 'cause I know they're gonna be opening soon, is the Twin Borough Pub up there on the boulevard, with the 2-hour parking. And we discussed that, putting it from like 9 to 3 PM. Has anybody have given that any more thought on doing that? Putting the time below the 2-hour parking from 9 AM to 3 PM.
So technically speaking, in Verona, 2-hour parking on the boulevard and wherever else there are signs is 24 hours a day. Is that accurate? No. What are the current?
It's 9 to 5.
Okay,
There is a set timeline, don't well, it's either 8 to 4, 9 to 5, I can't think of it.
I think it's 9, yeah.
5. Well, then why would we have to change it? Because if you park there at 3, it's 2 hours, and then after 5 o'clock.
But if you're coming to see the place, with some friends, let's say excuse me, it's 6 o'clock and you see the sign that says 2-hour parking, then you have to be out of it by 8 o'clock.
No, what I'm saying is, it's monitored from 9 AM to 5 PM.
No, it's actually monitored
8 to
to
4.
yeah.
Monitor 8 to 4.
Okay, 8 to 4.
Yes.
And after 4 PM, you can park there all night
Right.
long.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just saying that if somebody, I don't know when they're gonna be open, but if you're still having 2-hour parking during the daytime, then after 4 o'clock, they can come and park.
But somebody may not know that. You didn't know what time the 2-hour parking ended.
Isn't that on all the other signs?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Okay,
For some reason, the
Oh.
board changed that. It used to be, I believe, years ago. It would have the time on it.
so that's what's confusing. My point just is, if we're gonna have the times of when it says 2-hour parking, 8 AM to 4 PM. We put them on all the signs and then leave it be, because you can come, for 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, anyway, then it's unlimited, and no one's gonna get kicked out of there for 2-hour parking. You guys get what I'm saying?
I don't, I'm confused at what the issue is, because the boulevard has always been 2-hour parking, hasn't it?
Well, that's what I thought it was.
We've
24 hours a
we've
day.
had the Grey Goose on the boulevard, we had there was a hoagie shop there a long time ago, there was
Pizza place.
a couple pizza places, so. If we've had all of these businesses on our boulevard throughout the years, and it's been 2-hour parking. Why are we making a special exception for this new business?
He just asked me if I would bring it up to the board, about
I'm just
and I
bringing
did.
up, like, if we haven't done it in the past for all these other businesses, why are we?
So this is so interesting, because I remember just 2, 3, 4 years ago, people were worried about parking their cars overnight on the boulevard because it was only 2-hour parking, and they all had to move their cars for the nighttime. Now you're telling me it's only monitored from 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever it is, so people could park on the boulevard on all night long without any problem.
A lot of that was those people were
Worried about street sweeping too.
not getting up in the morning early enough, and the 2-hour parking kicking in at 8 or 9, and then get a ticket first thing in the morning.
Okay, all right, well, I can see that. I'm just saying. We're gonna have 2-hour parking from whatever it is, 8 to 4, 9 to 3, 9 to 5, whatever. But then after that, people can park their unlimited amount.
Yeah.
They can start 2 hours from whatever the cutoff time is, because then they will have only been there 2 hours. So they can start at 2 o'clock if it's 8 to 4. And then we're good to go.
I think
I
it was-
wanna do something that's welcoming, for this restaurant for sure.
Sure.
But it doesn't seem like we need to change anything except maybe put the hours on the rest of the signs. So then
I would just suggest if we decide to do that, when we change the sign, just put the hours on the new signs. I wouldn't say go buy new signs now. For the whole boulevard. Yeah, if we're gonna update the signs, then put the hours on.
Yeah.
you can put the hours on, I thought, without new.
You might,
Tape or whatever that.
maybe something AJ could look into.
Yeah, as long as we don't have to change the ordinance.
Yeah.
Then I don't think we have to do with. At least making the sign more clear. Because that's all we're talking about. Well, signs.
More clear.
Clear to read,
Yeah,
distinguish.
Yeah, and I was just informed also the Ford Explorer, the gray one is down, it's getting repaired. And it is an older car, we're gonna put money into it. I think the repair that needs about $900 or so,
Maybe over 1,000.
over
They're
1,000.
waiting for parts.
Yeah, so these cars are getting old. I know the Tahoe's going, but we need to look into
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that is straight in.
getting traded in tomorrow.
Yeah, so we had one cruiser, 24/7 coverage.
It's not in perfect condition either.
No,
Wait,
I got my emails today concerning that. We have one cruiser to cover the town 24/7. And if that goes down, we have no cruisers. So
Do we know how long it's gonna take them to fix
it's on the
the?
priority list.
We have a
They're just
date,
waiting for parts now.
do we have a date on the one we just,
2 months.
I thought it was already done.
No. It was sitting on the lot, they're upfitting it now. That's why they have to take this cruiser to take the radio, my computer, the rifle, shotgun mount, stuff like that we can reuse, put it in the new one. So hopefully before Christmas, we have a second cruiser. So you're gonna have to make a hard decision now, because where you go down this one cruiser, we have nothing. So
We'll cross that when it comes there.
Well, we probably need to cross it before it comes.
we have to deal with it now.
We have to figure something
No,
out.
I'm saying if it happens to go down, there's a place on Offside Boulevard. Had them used ones, I mean, we could rent. Is what I'm saying,
There's something we can rent.
yeah,
Um,
Do you know them out there?
yeah.
Can you,
They used to do their work.
can you talk to them and see what the deal is, if we can rent one for a month or two?
Well, if, as you saw in my letter, I mean, we gotta make a decision if we're gonna buy a new
A
one.
new one,
Obviously, I get it. It makes sense not to get two at the same time for rotation purposes, but something that I mentioned 3 months ago, we're here. It happened. You know, are we gonna pay to fix the silver car to get it through till we get the new car that comes in December, hopefully, fingers crossed? You know, you gotta make a decision soon. Because, you know, if you don't, you're gonna have the news here. Why didn't Verona respond to this call? I'm not walking up the hill. You know, that's where we're at. So,
Well, maybe we can discuss that in exec two a little bit.
and then
that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Paul, speaking of signs, I noticed there's some signs on Center Avenue, speed limit signs.
yeah,
Some say 25 and some say 15.
I have to look at the ordinance. I don't.
I'm just saying, I mean, we, something to look into. I know you're busy as heck.
Well, you saw my email about ordinance reviews.
Yeah,
No one responded, but, you know, that's just one of many that need to be reviewed.
and I'm just saying, there's two signs, there's on.
Well, you guys, I mean, I don't know what the ordinance says. You guys, if it says that in the ordinance, you're gonna have to reword the ordinance.
The 15, I think, is for St. Joe's, isn't it?
The sign on the pole on Center, one says speed limit 15, one says speed limit 25. Going up and coming down. So either way, we take the
I'll
25.
ask, well, let's do it legal. I'll ask AJ tomorrow. I know when we were doing the, action track lines. He didn't quite understand why there was such a drastic change coming and going on centers. Honestly, I don't know. I have to look at the.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
It's on the list
I know,
down here.
I hear you.
This could be untrue, but I always was told it was because of the schools.
I thought that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Same thing with the 15 on Second by Cripps, because it's
the playground, yeah, the
Right.
park.
But I mean, there's two school zones there too. There's Werner and then it used to be St. Joe's.
Right. Yes, I don't know, I'm just mentioning it, that I noticed that. And I know Arch Street is terrible. It's, I know they're still working on tying the lines into the houses. But, that is not fair to them people down below the tracks that live like that all winter, down on Arch Street. That road is just terrible. That company got to come in and, they were told that they have to come in and put binder in, not just cold patch. Well, right at Fairview and Arch, it's all sunken in. You get down there, you know, something needs to be done. And this contractor's not gonna do it unless we get on their butt. Something's gotta be done. I don't think the people that live down on Arch and Penn and that need to put up with that all winter.
They had put up with it last winter, they had a sinkhole last winter, the same.
True,
On
right,
Fairview, right?
right, so,
I appreciate that, Ray. I also wanna just mention across, if I'm back straight out of my driveway. The part of the street right there, I don't even think that the street sweeper or the leaf vac can go over it because it's just chunks of the
Right.
roadway. That is sitting there, which is fine if no one touches it. But there's just chunks of roadway, like
well, I know the water authority's still going and doing the tie-ins to the main line.
that particular one is done.
Yeah, but they're not gonna come in and just do one part, I mean,
No, I
you
know,
know,
I'm just saying,
right.
it's very deplorable
it
decision.
is, it's terrible down there.
Situation, and I'm just thinking,
The people that live down there don't need to put up with that, that's for sure.
thank you.
So, anyway, I just wanna mention that, I've called Matt numerous times and he's reached out to them, but. You know, you see where it caught me, so. That's all I have.
Hey, Ray,
What's
I
that?
wanted to piggyback off of Dave real quick, just to give you guys an update. We are civil service testing Monday. We have 10 applicants. I've been verifying that their attendance. I got to 6 today. 6 are showing up Monday. Of the 6, 2 are prior service and 4 in the academy, and I will reach out to the remaining 4 tomorrow to verify that they're gonna show up.
Sweet,
So we have that, and then I'm planning hopefully in the next week or two. Since there's still money in the budget for cameras, to put one at South and East Railroad. Because the infrastructure is in place already. There's power, and I'm hoping that we can get the Wi-Fi down that way. I'm not sure, but they said that's the most reasonable and the cheapest thing to do, just to add an extra camera.
nice,
So, because there's nothing down that end of her railroad park.
nice.
So
Thanks, Tom, thanks for the update, hope it works out, that's for sure. Next up would be, the finance report discussed for 2026 draft budget for the general store and everything.
In your packets, you guys have the draft budget, the adoption timeline. There's also a brief, presentation, but, I was gonna go over this presentation a little bit tonight, but I feel that, I still need to meet with Tim to go over, I think, some of the items that I'm just not familiar with, like how the fund balance at the end of the year gets divvied up with the policy. What the starting balance, I have a target ending year, fund balance that I believe we're gonna end at, that I'd like to talk, about, but my thought was that, I would do a more detailed, budget overview with everyone at the next meeting in November. And that would be the presentation. The target really needs to be that we have this budget advertised by November 29th in order to get it adopted December 19th. So, that is the target that we should have, to still meet that deadline. And, but right now, I mean, the finances are looking, the finances are looking really good going into the end of the year. I mean, the target, cash reserves or the target fund balance is around 250,000 going into the end of the year. So, that's a good, way to end the year, really.
It'd be nice to see a comparison from where we were last year,
For
at
sure.
the end of the year,
Yes.
to see where we're
down probably about 150,000.
down about 50.
We ended the year last year around 350 some.
Yeah.
That's why we were able to distribute so much, because our operating costs are pretty much.
Then we started back up the beginning of the year, what?
We start every year with 3 months operating.
That's what I thought, right?
Which is around $250,000.
Yeah.
We just might not be able to put as much
You
into
available
the.
Monday? At 7:00.
Yeah.
It'll be a Zoom link or.
Yeah.
Trish, are you available Monday at 7:00?
Yes.
Jason, are you available Monday?
I think.
Monday, 7:00, we can be here in person and on Zoom.
Very good. Next up's parks and property, Vince,
I have nothing to say.
nothing at this time, thank you. Finance, Tim,
Uh,
okay, I figured.
Next week.
Yeah, well, the meeting is Monday. Public safety, Nancy?
Thank you. Had my meeting last Tuesday on the 21st. And just a couple things to report from that. I've been asked to bring up again and get clarification on all the different light poles that are either not put back or don't light up. And basically, when is the engineer coming to look at all that and potentially fix things, do you know?
I don't have that anywhere on the radar. Was there a request made to do that?
Am I missing something? I thought that last I heard, which was a while ago, was that it wasn't like the 2 or 3 that are up but don't light up. And it wasn't just a simple light bulb change, it was something with the electrical connections or something.
Yes.
And that it required special electrician type people to come and fix that.
Yes, that is still being done. We don't believe that'll be done before the light up and all that, for that pole. So we're planning on stringing something aerial, an aerial line.
Those aren't the ones I'm referring to though.
Great, and I don't know what it is.
There were ones on one, remind me, kind of like him.
We are missing 2 poles on Corona Dental side. On A or B, we're missing one on South Railroad by Billy Case and East Railroad. The front she's referring to, we have actually another one that's out now.
Okay,
AJ just told me this morning that the conduit's destroyed. That's in front of Napa, so we have almost a dozen lights not working or missing.
Matt talked about this at the last meeting. That's what you were referring to, the engineer. He had brought up where those 2 poles are at, what the timeline was, who was responsible for replacing those. He mentioned that at the last meeting. But there's no update on that I can provide as to who's doing that when those poles are going up yet.
well, I guess, I mean, it's not critical in the, you know, when you do a priority list, but light helps prevent crime. And I just was hoping that somehow we could get with AJ and find out exactly what's happening with the poles that the light bulbs are out, the poles that need to be put up. And I know that we have the problem with the 5 lights down by South that went off after the guys were done paving.
And I believe there
That's
is
the-
one that has a foundation issue, like the one that was a destroyed foundation or something, I believe.
Yeah, one of them, they have to like, what's that machine?
Jackhammer.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have to do that,
Replace it.
yeah. So just, I don't know, trying to get the lights fixed. Is there any chance we could get a DPW to upgrade yellow and blue painting on the side, areas where there's supposed to be yellow and blue paint, you know, for handicap and no parking?
Not this time of year. You wouldn't do that this time of year. You could target that in the spring.
Okay,
That's why these guys are struggling right now, getting these applications done on A or B right now. You've got to have 40 degrees and rising, and the asphalt temperature's got to be just right in order for paint to adhere. But I can make a list of where, if we have an inventory, if we have a targeted list that we want to provide to them. Is there specific areas that you're mentioning?
well, what I can tell, most of the town needs it to be updated.
I'll just give them a general statement about yellow and blue paint in the spring.
Okay, great. When we talked at the public safety meeting, we determined that the names of the alleys have been discovered through the discovery of an old map of Verona. And there are many.
Well, it's not just that.
Oh,
I went through the minutes from 1900s. Yeah, call me a nerd. I don't care. And I found all the names of the alleys in town. So, and I gave the example, and anyone that deals with public safety, they dispatch you to do cross streets. And the example I used for the public safety meeting, say there's structure fire on Heron Avenue. You're gonna say structure fire 7 whatever Heron Avenue, cross street unnamed alley, cross street unnamed alley. what's that mean? I mean, it's, we're one of the few, doesn't make any sense. We have names, the names are in place, they're in the minutes from 1899 on. Like Fireman's Alley, some of you behind the fire hall, it's not Fireman's Alley. The alley behind Verner is Greenhouse Way. All the alleys are way in the borough. Between Vogel's Lane and South Avenue, never knew this, it was always unnamed alley, it's Adams Way. Never knew that. But with the assistance of AJ, we found this all out. My goal would be to get these out to you and then just have the county recognize them so that if something happens, we have a name. Because if you look on the map system in the CAD, unnamed alley, that doesn't tell you anything. And it'd be nice to have when someone puts in GPS, hey, this whatever alley. So that's all.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. So the only other thing, and this is what it is on the agenda, has to do with the rental registration and inspection program. That I believe you gave the presentation. Was that when I was
On vacation.
I was away? Yeah, and so we brought that up at the public safety meeting, and a lot of people had some opinions about all that, and so we said we would bring it up here at the workshop to discuss with everybody. And basically, if you recall from the presentation, this is to come up with a system that every rental property would be inspected either every other year, every third year. And upon doing a little research with the help of Jason, chapter 192 in Eco 360 addresses the whole thing. And to my surprise, it had here that the frequency of inspecting should be every third year, starting in 2018. We've never done that, as far as I'm aware. That has never been done. So, an ordinance is only as good as its enforcement or, how well we follow it. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all. It's a very long ordinance. It's not an ordinance. It's they take the ordinances and do something with them and put them on Code 360. But I guess the first question is, do people want to institute this? Do people want to do every other year, every third year? I kind of like the every third year thing because we have a natural division of the town with the voting districts, although they're not equal. Some voting districts are way bigger than others. But I do think that we should come up with a definitive inspection plan, have a code enforcement or whoever do it and come up with a system so that it's so well done that anybody who is in here doing inspecting would be able to follow our plan because it would be well thought out. But Jason, I know that you had brought up a couple of points about from this code 360. I don't have it in front of me. Some about code people. I didn't understand your question about code.
So the ordinance states that the code enforcement officer is the one who's responsible for performing those inspections per the ordinance. Right now, it is a third party contracted code enforcement agency, which, they would be the ones that would be responsible then for doing the inspections if you wanted to continue to pursue that. But I do think that there were some things, in the ordinance that I just felt that, if council wanted to, make this a little more broad and, because having a third party do an inspection like that, could be expensive. You could hire someone who's not your code enforcement officer to actually perform that particular inspection at a lower rate. The typical inspection rate is about $75 to $100 per inspection per, so that would be every third year they would pay for that the landlord would be responsible for having that done
Per unit,
per unit.
so if they have 10 units, it would be $750, but it's only once every 3 years or whatever.
Right.
But that's generally paid by the owner to the inspecting person. We don't even have to deal with that one.
Well, no, it's more typically paid directly to the borough, and then the borough handles the payment between the inspector and how that's done. And it's mainly so that you can keep track of, did they pay? Was the, application completed? What is the cycle that they're in? Because the program does need to be managed by borough staff. That inspection piece is probably the only thing in the ordinance that I would say needs maybe some clarification on or possibly some adjustment.
Okay, the inspection is what we have now as a third party.
For code enforcement, yes.
So Jamie's third party.
He's considered third party in the fact that he's not an employee.
He's
So he's a
1099.
Yeah, he's a contracted service. So he's considered a third party, which that is really the norm for rental inspections, is having a third party like a BIU or, somebody like Jamie doing that type of inspection. However, because of the number of rentals, that are in the borough, I think that it is a good idea to have it rotate on that every third year, just because it really would be a pretty busy schedule for someone to try to do those all,
Half
in one
and
year.
half.
Also, the language in there when it says code enforcement officer versus code enforcement agency, could that be a problem with the legal terminology? When we're saying code enforcement officer versus an outside contracted agent?
Yeah, I think it's, who the borough designates as the code enforcement officer. Jamie is your legally designated officer right now through his agency, right? He was appointed, his agency was appointed, he's been sworn into the magistrate in order to deal with cases. So there's probably not as much technicality in that as we think, but I just think having that reference could, the rate could be higher, right? I don't even know it, I'm telling you that it's typically $75 to $100. Jamie may say it's $150, right? Like, agencies charge more, right? Because they have more overhead and all that kind of thing. So, I think that's where that difference is. I think that if there was going to be a suggestion on what to do with that, the thought is consider amending that ordinance to generalize the inspector piece. And, cite that the fees the fees would be determined by the annual fee schedule that could be adjusted from time to time. Just so you don't have to constantly be going back and amending the ordinance.
Do we have the actual ordinance?
Yeah, it's January 4th of 2011 is when that ordinance was adopted, and it is in the final. Yeah.
Is it? Because this year it said 2018.
Well, the original one was 2011.
Okay, well, we have it, so maybe, Craig or you could do it or whatever, but, I was reviewing the minutes that we were sent by Teresa. And there happened to be a motion on one of those minutes to put out an advertisement for a code enforcement officer. I don't know if we ever did that. Right was when you were just starting. I don't know if anybody remembers that, if anybody remembers, but one of those two things of minutes, there was a motion made to put out an ad for and rather than do we just want to stay with Jamie, or do we want to actually find our own code enforcement?
I think we already approved.
What's that?
I think we already approved putting an ad out as.
We did.
Then we should put an ad.
Yes, that's my point. Yeah.
I don't think it's a question. I think
Yeah.
we can't go back for something we already approved. We have to do it.
Well, I suppose we could unapprove it, but yes, that's my point in bringing it up. That we had this motion on one of the two minutes that we are approving tonight. And if we're approving those minutes and those minutes say to put out an ad for a code enforcement officer, I suppose we should get
Get it
started
out
on that.
Was there a dollar, an hourly rate established in the motion?
No, I don't believe so.
I believe it's in the ad.
We don't have an ad, do we?
I'm not putting that together for it.
So we made an ad, you make an ad.
There was an act from,
Okay,
the last one that we hired.
I believe it's.
Oh,
Yes,
for
sir.
Cal? Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna put it out the same amount.
so it's just the same as whatever Joe was doing.
I can't completely recall, I have to look at the ad.
It was the same ad that we,
Did for Joe.
Joe's making less than what our ad was
Joe-
put out for.
Okay.
Yeah,
We were gonna put out the same ad we put out for Joe, because that was.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, it was, on August twelfth, the business meeting. Motion to approve advertising for part-time code enforcement officer and two motions later. Motion to approve contract with Eastland Inspections.
That was for interim,
Right.
in an interim capacity.
So I just wanted to bring that back up to our awareness that that's needs to be looked into and.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because I had thought that we had already put an ad out.
But you know, it's nobody's fault because we were in a bit of chaos and turmoil at the time. So. So. I'm hearing a sense that people think that every third year is the best way to go with this. Yes,
Good with me.
yeah, I think so.
That was what I brought up.
What's that?
That's what I brought up in the meeting.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm just
Yeah.
bringing it to the entire,
Yeah, I agree with every 3 years, just split the list in thirds,
yeah,
doesn't make a difference if it's or not.
yeah. So, all right, so, if there's anything else you need from us,
That's good.
so we agree, okay. Yeah, this is gonna take a while, but once it gets going, I think it'll be a good thing and we'll beef up the rental properties in town, hopefully. My next meeting is going to be November 18th. And everybody, please remember about the open house next Thursday at the RCAC, which is on Delaware and Second in Oak Farm. It's an open house, it should be fun. Free food and drink, meet lots of nice people. That's it, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Next up would be Trish. Rizak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to go a little bit reverse order. The next joint Community Relations and Strategic Planning Committee meeting will be on Wednesday, November 19th at 4 p.m. in council chambers and on Zoom. This is our last planned meeting for the year. We will be canceling December. So if you had an interest in our new and improved committee meeting, please pencil that one. We will be inviting the members of the boat club to come and talk again with Matt Pitch, our engineer, regarding the Arch Street reconstruction scheduled now for next year and any traffic calming that we can implement in tandem with that project. Our last joint committee meeting was held on Wednesday, October 15th at 4, also on Zoom and in council chambers. During that meeting, Matt Pitch joined us along with Borough Manager Jason Daly. With Matt, we reviewed the 2023 MTF. By the way, that's multimodal transportation funds. The 2023 project is for sidewalk improvements that has gone out to bid. So we are optimistic that we've incorporated as many changes as input was given and have maximized that grant as well. I just emailed Matt asking him to forward the results of that discussion to us, to which I will forward to all of council. When Jason joined us, we also had a brief presentation by Jason on something that we've mentioned from time to time, which is a different committee structure. I think everyone is familiar now with what is being dubbed basically a traditional committee structure versus more of a hybrid or super committee structure. So the merger of these two committees recently is kind of a trial or pilot and sort of a hybrid version of this, where we have one larger committee. This is still in compliance with the Sunshine Act, of course, because all of our committee meetings are advertised. Um, so here, and I will go through these in brief if anyone is interested. We are happy to share, and also counsel, this is part of your packet for tonight, but we have the multiple committee structure that we have currently been doing. And for the last couple of years, we have been advertising them all, meeting monthly. Everyone is on 3 committees, chairing one with the exception of the president, who's in charge of assigning committees. So we have, and Jason, feel free to, if you want to actually just talk, that is fine with me too.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to kind of go over this again. You know, one of the things that I've seen with you know, council is that you all spend a lot of time in you know, evenings and you know, on various committees, attending different meetings throughout the month. I mean, you know, in addition to your 2 meetings that you have like tonight, you're also putting in 2 and 3 nights of meetings as part of these committees as well. And then you come back here and you talk about all the things you talked about in the committee and try to gain some consensus to advance, you know, topics and issues and things like that. You know, that is considered a very traditional committee structure where you have these individual committees that have a singular focus, and you know, they work to you know, hammer out issues and then bring those issues up to council. The challenge is, right, is that, you know, obviously your time is valuable, you know, everyone's time is valuable. It's a lot of meetings that you all attend. There's a lot of, you know, just, you know, time that this is involved. So a newer structure that is, you know, is really taking, you know, over is this idea of a super committee structure where very much like this workshop meeting is here this evening, this would be essentially your single committee meeting. So, you know, Nancy would have her list of topics that she might want to go over, and you know, bring up to work on consensus. Is everybody essentially would be part of every committee day. You all would be part of the whole group, but you would talk more freely, kind of like you do at tonight's meeting, you know, about the issues that would be on the agenda. And then you would also know right off the bat whether or not you're going to advance those topics for action at the next, you know, business meeting. You know, the pros to this is obviously your time is reduced that you need to put in. You know, individual council members can still be doing work outside of that super committee meeting to, you know, do their fact finding and all that type of stuff. But the workshop meeting would essentially serve as your single committee meeting then, where you would bring up topics, see if they have you know, enough information to advance for action to the business meeting. You also start to find that, you know, the topics start to get a little more action oriented. So like some of the things that Nancy was bringing up tonight, you know, about like the curb painting and things like that, those kind of things more likely would not be talked about in committee. You know, those would just be directed to the manager as an action item to follow up with the public works foreman or director. So these meetings then would be a little bit more, you know, focused on higher level topics that council's involved with, you know. The ordinance item, it would be a great example where you talked about the rental inspections. That's a policy decision. That is 100% one of those items that would be talked about in the super committee meeting. Lower level items start to fall off of the agenda because again, your time is valuable and you want to keep these meetings moving along. But you get away from having those individual committees at that point. So, you know, some committees, you know, one committee in particular would typically remain, and that's the personnel committee, just because there are routine things like performance reviews and wage settings and contract negotiations and things like that, that a committee like that is necessary to maintain. But all of the other committees would essentially fold into this one super committee structure. So that's really the Reader's Digest version of what that.
Couldn't the personnel committee also be in there? Because in performance reviews, you would just pick 3 of the council members to do performance.
Sure. Yeah, you
Any
certainly
other
could.
Personnel committee would just be the 3 council members that are available.
Yeah, you certainly
I
could.
mean, if we want to expedite things, it's how it should have always been. It should always been the people that were available did the interviews. That way the interviews should get done faster.
Right,
Instead of us scheduling an interview for a week later, that we could have probably had the day after.
right. Yep. Yeah, I think it's certainly a way to try it, to see. I've just seen that because of the nature of the things that they deal with, but I think that you bring up a good point, that, could you just roll it in as well?
Yeah, because those are the only things on personnel. Most of the other things are executive session issues.
They sure.
Any wages or anything, executive session.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 points, interviews and performance.
Right.
The personnel would have.
So I had an opportunity at a conference I went to a week and a half ago to talk to a woman from Gorma,
Oh, good.
Melinda. She's an assistant
Oh,
manager.
Assistant, yeah.
Yes. And so I obviously had a lot of interest because we had just gotten this presentation. And she said that most of the people liked it. There was starting to be a little pushback, but they had the 6 committee structure. And it's not exactly the same, but there are people who are kind of in charge of this topic or that topic. They had to split it so that 3 of the topics were discussed. They have their meetings on Mondays. So one Monday's business meeting, the next Monday, let's say, is 3 of the 6 topics of their super committee, and the next Monday is 3 of their 6 topics. So they meet 3 times. The 2 super committee meetings are kind of like workshops, and because it's public and advertised, that if a motion needed to be brought up and voted on in a quicker time
You're saying
than just the business.
You're saying they have 2 super committees?
Yes.
Whenever I was there, they only had 1.
Well, this is what she told me,
And they still only have 1 advertised on their website right now.
well, maybe they need to change that, because she definitely told me they have 2. Because if they only had 1, it would be like 5-hour long meeting. And she totally agreed that, it just would be too much, but still, only having to go to 3 meetings a month instead of 5 or 6 meetings a month would be better. And I have to say, just personally, I like the idea of doing it because I've been always a proponent of trying to have unity among council. And this way, nobody who's doing something in their committee, it's secret, and the other people don't know. And, that can be very divisive in a council. And I'd like to see everybody have all the information and share it equally. And I think that would promote that. So I'm liking the idea more and more, the more I think about it. What do other people say?
I have no words. I've been pushing for a super committee for 2.5 years. So
Worth a try.
If it could save time, that I'm for it. Yeah. I do see it being, we do have a lot of issues. I mean, it would still be probably a 4 or 5 hour long meeting.
We just had 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least you're here once, not here, 4 or 5 times a month.
Right.
But, at least you're getting a lot of the business done more efficiently, and you're down here one time. And everybody's involved, and maybe, just maybe, we could get things done a little bit quicker. Might be worth a shot.
What's entailed in actually implementing this, and would we just start in January or what?
That was what I was gonna bring up was, maybe to set a target date, of, January is a great, month to consider that. Because we've got to redo the advertising, right, for for all the meetings and everything. So what we would do is we would target January as being the month for the super committee meeting that would essentially take the place of this meeting, right? The workshop and agenda setting meeting where you could, use this as that venue for.
Sure, we might have to add another, so Tuesday, so that we're not here for 5 hours.
I want to also remind everybody that has attended the local government academy in the last 4 years. I attended both of them. They're in your back.
They're in your budget.
They're in your local government academy and newly elected official course. They spent a whole day going over super committees, both years that I went. So if you still have that in your email, pull it up, print it out. It's very informative and it's in there. We had speakers and everything. So I think everybody on council has attended those courses except Ray. Or you guys, Ray. It's thick, it's the whole course is like this thick. But there's a whole day set aside for super.
So I'm happy that most people are amenable to at least trying this structure. I was going to add on to something John said, which is that council members would still maintain a focus area, and so work would still continue to be done on our own outside of the super committee meeting, but the goal would be to streamline and, reduce overall meeting time and make operations more efficient. So that sounds good. Thank you for that presentation, Jason. And there aren't any other comments or questions. That's all I have for this evening.
Thanks, Trish. Next up will be the Personnel Committee, Mr. Jamelis.
Thank you, Ray. So our last personnel committee meeting, we went through the list of HR projects that we're still working on. Number one is we're trying to get our handbook completed. And I know that we had targeted this ratification for this evening, and we are still trying to iron out some details with the handbook, so it's not ready yet. We want to make sure we're doing this right, so we are going to delay it just a little bit further until we get everything down completely, and correctly, I should say. And so, I'm gonna talk to you, Sylvia, Vince, we're gonna get together. We'll discuss all that. Basically, that's all I have. I mean, we're gonna, we'll talk about all that.
We're having a meeting in November.
Yes. Well, actually, I didn't. Does that fall on?
No, it's the 19th.
Okay, yeah, I was worried about that. Yeah, we're gonna have a meeting in November.
It's the week before.
Yeah, so, but I'll meet with you guys, we'll talk before that. I'm hoping we can get the handbook at least kicked off, and then also the performance reviews as well. There's some tweaks we have to do with that too.
I did have one quick question. I did look at what Tracy, she's sent out to all of us, right? And it didn't seem like it was new. It seemed like it was like the same as before. What she said.
What with the meeting?
Well, I'll get with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know there was, okay, so there was one topic, I'll dive into this real quick. So there was one issue that came up with in the personnel committee meeting regarding the media policy. So the idea was that we were to have one point of contact when it comes to talking to the media. If some event were to happen, have one person and really we wanted to have, we were saying, well, maybe it would be borough manager. But, if it's a criminal investigation, I mean, do you really want to talk about a criminal investigation? That would be Tom. Tom has more relevant experience with regards to that topic, or if it's a fire like what happened at my building, you want Chief Tiggy to be, the person to, speak on that topic. So I don't know if that, we need to make changes in the language on that too. So there's several things in the handbook. That's just one example. Several things in the handbook that we have to change.
I was gonna say on the media guide one, just look when D-Moore Towers flooded last 2 weeks ago. You had your mayor, you had your chief, you had your fire chief, you had your emergency management coordinator. And they talked to Tommy over there. Tommy gave a good interview and explained what was going on. So for us to just say, okay, we want the borough manager to do all the talking, he's not coming, he might not be around, he might not come out for that.
Well, yeah, Channel 4 comes in here, they're not gonna want, well, you gotta go talk to the borough manager and he's not around, or,
Right.
and they're not gonna wanna talk to the borough manager.
Just saying, so yeah, that needs a little tweaking, so.
Yeah, so
Very good.
we're gonna try to fix that and some other things, and anyhow, I don't wanna take up any time, I just wanted to let everyone know, we're still working on that, and sorry for being long-winded here, so.
Sorry, very good, thanks, John. And Sylvia, your committee was taken off you, do you have anything to say?
We were fine with that.
Yes, but you haven't,
The only thing I had on them that our next meeting is gonna be November 9th. Trish already brought.
okay. Very good, thank you. Next up, ordinary items, I'll take a motion, oh no, the next up was to discuss the civil service alternates, but we did that already. So, the next up is gonna be a motion to approve the August 12th and August 26th minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Provenza, are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next up, motion, they're gonna get it here. Here you have a regular date. The PennDOT winter agreement. PennDOT and Verona Borough have long engaged in winter service agreements whereby the Borough Public Works Department performs road work on state roadways at a contracted rate. These rates are predetermined by PennDOT based on location within the county and type of roadway. This agreement is in everyone's packets. I'll entertain a motion and then a discussion on the matter. I'll need a motion to approve the concurring resolution adopting the 5-year agreement with PennDOT for winter services.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Jamelis. Are there any questions?
Well, I'm just wondering, is this is mostly for
Snow
plowing
removal.
snow?
Snow removal.
So we get paid whether there's snow or not.
Yeah, so much per what they gotta record what they use and their miles and hours and stuff like that.
But it looks on here like it's just a snow.
It is, you get paid that, even if it doesn't snow, this year, and there is an escalating clause in there that if there's an abundance of snow, that they will pay.
Okay. And so you are familiar with this, right? And you're good with it.
Definitely.
Okay.
We've done it, we've done this every year, Nancy.
Yeah, I know.
No, I know.
want to make sure.
Right. No, I'm just saying, this is pretty formal. I think it's pretty formal for all the towns and municipalities that PennDOT works with. Okay, the next up is I'm sorry. All those in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next up, Sergeant Blake's honorable discharge. The borough has been fortunate to have been served by Sergeant Blake for over 20 years. His dedication and service to this community cannot be overstated. At this time, I will entertain a motion to honor for the honorable discharge of Sergeant Blake.
I move
I move to honorably discharge Sergeant Sean Blake.
make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Jamelis. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Let's take a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Long,
No.
Councilman Jamelis. Aye. Dr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Councilperson Redzak,
Yes.
President Sidovich,
No.
Councilman Floto,
No.
and Councilperson Pimmons.
Yes.
It's 4 yeas to 3 yeas.
Very good. Next up is the announcements and everything from Mr. Cabeza.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. Newsletter, we're currently working on our winter edition of the newsletter. This edition will cover December, January, and February. Ads and articles are due on Saturday, November 1st. And for articles, Dawn Ward can be reached at 412-828-3607 or at Verona Newsletter. Excuse me. Yes, at veronanewsletter@gmail.com. And I get
We're in his room.
The emails Verona Newsroom.
veronanewsroom@gmail.com. And I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, November the 18th, 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And Tom, do you have any,
No, I'm not.
any comments? Okay, thank you. Twin Barrow Ministries, the Health Community Dinner is going to be held tomorrow at the Verona Methodist Church, 4:30 to 6:30, and it will be hosted by the Verona Boots. Historical Society, next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, November the 20th at 7 p.m. Here in the Borough Building. The guest speaker will be Beth Capioli, and her topic will be the history of Vandergrift. And all are welcome. ALOM, they have set the date for the 2016 Spring Educational Conference.
2026.
2026, yes. And it will be on April the 9th through the 12th. Location has not yet been determined, but whenever we get it, I will share it with you. More news to follow on. If there are any questions or comments, this concludes my report. I thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Yes, sir.
It's not gonna be, at Seven Springs?
I do not have a date yet. They said they haven't made a decision for hearing. At this time. We'll get back.
Thanks.
This time I'll take comments from the public. If you have any comments, come to the public podium, raise your virtual hand, state your name and address. Try to limit it to 2 minutes, please. I don't see no hands. Nobody come to the podium. I'll take a motion to adjourn to exec session, and we do not have to return. Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. All in favor? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the meeting. Be safe traveling home. And,